So, you're looking to make a system in 2021, but the graphics card market is a bit, well, spicy at the moment, let's just call it that. Well, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it.
You got the devil in your eyes.
Okay, so beginning today, I just want to talk to you guys about different budget computers that you can still build now. But let's begin with a €300 budget PC. So for this PC, what I've chosen is actually pretty good price to performance. €300 is not a lot, to say the least. So I just have parts list here that I put together using Amazon, and I got the CPU from AliExpress. I'll explain that later. So for the CPU, it is going to be an Athlon 200GE from AliExpress. Why I chose AliExpress is because I bought a CPU off them before, came unharmed, pretty good, and depends on the shop as well. If you pick the right shop, you get the right things. So make sure to read reviews and stuff, because I have not had a bad experience with AliExpress yet, me personally. So I guess it's just be cautious, because I've always been cautious about AliExpress. Nothing bad has ever happened to me using it yet. So yeah. Along with that, the motherboard is going to be an MSI A320M-A Pro Max, which in this listing it says it's an Intel socket 1151, but it's an AM4 board. It's not an Intel 1151 socket at all. For the RAM, we have chosen a HyperX Fury 2x4GB kit running at 2400 MHz because 3200 MHz is too expensive. It would not fit in the €300 budget. Now, for the power supply, we have chose a Thermaltake TR2S power supply. It is a 500 watt 80 plus rated power supply, and it's really decent. Please don't cheap out on your power supply ever. Don't go for some cheapo random power supply you've never heard of before. It's much better to go with a known brand that has some sort of recognition somewhere for being decent, for having quality power supplies. This is the reason why we were not able to get the 3200 MHz RAM, actually, because if we went for any other cheaper power supply, we would have been able to fit the 3200 MHz. But you would have also risked just blowing up your whole house and dying in a ball of fire. And to be frank, we don't want to be responsible for that, so go for this power supply. The case is a Deepcool Matrix 30, which in my opinion is a great budget case. It is fantastic for the price. You have got decent-ish front airflow, you have a fan, and for the Athlon you don't really even need a fan. But it does have a side panel. I'm pretty certain it's acrylic. You won't be getting tempered glass for like €28. Like ever. So in my opinion, this is very, very decent and a good case. So altogether, what are you going to be able to do with the €300 PC? Well, it's got a dual core 4-threaded processor. It's got Vega 3 integrated graphics. You won't be doing too much on it. You might be playing Fortnite on the performance mode. Yeah, you'll be playing Fortnite on the performance mode, the lowest possible settings. You would be getting around 40 to 60 FPS depending on where you are on the map. But you will definitely be able to play other esports titles that are less demanding, like CSGO. CSGO, you're getting 160 FPS around there. I've been researching this specific PC for quite a while. So this is a decent PC for 300. I do recommend though, maybe in the future, if you are going to upgrade, first thing to do is get more RAM, or upgrade to a Ryzen 3 or Ryzen 5 3400G, 3200G, because I absolutely love those APUs. I've got a thing for them, you know. They're really good. Alright, next budget on the list is the 500/450 euro build. This one is a gem for the price. It is amazing for the price, okay? So, let's start with the CPU. Again, off of AliExpress, we are getting a Ryzen 5 3400G if you want to go for the 500 euro, or a Ryzen 3 3200G if you want to go for the 450 euro budget. We do have 16 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM, so double the RAM and also much faster than the other one. And the only difference in price is 200. So keep that in mind. I would rather save up for this than go for 300 euro one. If you can, save up for this. We also have an EVGA W600 600 watt power supply. It's 80 plus. It's nothing fancy. It's the basic 600 watt power supply. That's what it really is. It's decent. It's from EVGA. You know, I have the box for the 500BR, and honestly, EVGA power supplies are all like, they're just gems. They're great. They're amazing. For the storage, we are using a Crucial BX500 480GB SSD. Unlike last build, we have literally double the storage. It's not exactly too much. If you do want to go for hard drive, please get some sort of SSD as a boot device at least, because honestly, hard drives kind of pain me, not gonna lie. The case, you might be saying, hey, what is this? I've never heard of it before. Well, you haven't. There's a massive chance you haven't heard of this case before, but it is amazing for the price. It's fantastic. 43 euro, and you get 2 fans up front with a mesh front panel, which at this price, yes, that is a for me. So that's a good case. Pretty sure this has a tempered glass side panel. I'm pretty certain. Oh, I don't think I have mentioned the motherboard. It's just a Gigabyte B450 motherboard. It's pretty damn good for the price. I mean, it's the Aorus M. It's just a basic B450 with a bit of VRM cooling. You will be able to fit in higher end components on this board because it is pretty damn decent. So keep in mind that you can, in fact, upgrade that later on in the line. You can also add a graphics card in here later on to, increase the budget, you know what I mean? Right now graphics cards are pretty expensive, but if prices do go down, I do recommend getting an RX 580 or GTX 1070 Ti for this system. I think a 1070 Ti or 1080 is where I'd limit it. Maybe a 1080 Ti, maybe, because if you are going to go for the Ryzen 5 3400G, it might be capable of keeping up with the 1080 Ti in most games, but if you're going for the Ryzen 3, there's not a high chance of it keeping up in any modern game. Okay, so next budget, not including the budget that I barely talked about, which was just adding graphics card into that. The €1,000 budget. This budget is going to be controversial because I'm going to tell you, okay, if you're going to buy one now, just get a used GPU. That's what I'm going to tell you. Just straight up, if you're going to buy a €1,000 PC, you don't have a choice but to just get a GPU if you're going to be gaming. If you just want the CPU horsepower, spend all the money on a CPU. Don't spend it on a used GPU. But let's get into it. So, CPU I chose is a great deal now. 6 cores, 12 threads, Core i5-10400F for €130 right now as of recording on Amazon. €130. That is amazing value for 6 cores, 12 threads. And this is the latest Core i5 from Intel as well, so it is very, very decent for the price, especially because it's priced just above a Ryzen 5 2600, or about the same even. So the motherboard is an ASRock Z490 Phantom. Why I picked this one is simply because it's the best value board, because it gives you Z490 for the price of what most B460s go on Amazon, around €130. I don't know why B460s go for like €130, but they do. Next, RAM, we went for 3200 megahertz of 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance at 3200 megahertz. Why we switched RAM kits was because Corsair Vengeance can be better, and you can overclock it. Specifically, why you want to overclock it? 3600 megahertz, if you can. 3466, you might be able to reach that those speeds. Next, SSD. We went for another 500 gig SSD. This time it's NVMe, and it's a Crucial. What is it? I forgot the name of it, but it is a Crucial NVMe SSD. It is the P2. I just don't get. They're simple names, but they never stick. You know what I mean? Next is the power supply. The Thermaltake Smart RGB 700 watt power supply. It's an 80 plus power supply. It's pretty basic, I know, but it is a 700 watt, and it's from Thermaltake, who I trust as a power supply company. They make decent power supplies, so I'll take the 700 watt for €58. That's pretty good pricing. Now, this case, I don't know if you've heard of it, but I really, really, really like it. The Sharkoon Pure Steel in white. This thing, in my opinion, looks better than the N60 H510, and it is better functionally as well, because you get airflow. Not from the front, but from the bottom of the case. You get airflow from the bottom of the case, which is pretty pog, if I say so myself. It's pretty cool. You got 2 fans in the case, one bringing air up from the bottom and one exhausting air out like that. In my opinion, this is better than the H510 in looks and functionality, because airflow on the H510 isn't really it's not a big concern EVGA put into it, I don't think. So you have the bottom intake, as we said before. What else is there about it? I think the way they laid it out was amazing. I just like the way this case looks, I'm gonna be honest, it looks amazing. The layout looks great, and it's decently priced compared to the H510. I think the H510 is going for about €80 now instead of 70. This is going for 70. So now, the controversial bit, graphics card. What I do recommend getting is a GTX 1070 right now. If you are going to buy it right now. If you are going to buy it right now, go for a GTX 1070 Ti. Maybe you might find one for like 350, or go for a GTX 980 Ti. In my opinion, you know, don't buy a graphics card now. Just wait. Like it's not too much. Just wait. But if you desperately need a graphics card right now, I would go for a 1070 Ti or 980 Ti. If I had to pick, because they go for around 250 to 350, which is the budget that we have. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the cooler. The Arctic Freezer 34. It's a basic tower cooler from Arctic. It's their Freezer 34. So I like it. I personally really like this cooler. It looks nice. It's pretty good. It's rated for 150 watts. So those are all the builds we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. By learn something, I mean, again, don't buy graphics cards now, please. Spare your wallet. Your wallet will thank you very much if you don't buy graphics cards right now. So, see you guys next time.